Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Crack IELTS with Simmer. And in today's video we are going to talk about cohesion and coherence in IELTS. Most of you, when you're preparing for your IELTS exam, you're paying a lot of attention on vocabulary, a lot of attention on grammar, and whether you or not you're writing off topic or on topic. Really want to make sure that you all know what is the difference between cohesion and coherence, what are the different types of cohesion, what are the different levels where you can use cohesion, and how you can obviously use cohesion and coherence in your response. So logical progression is how logically your ideas are arranged. So whatever has to come first is first, and whatever has to come after is after. So some of the examples of cohesion includes words like and. You don't have to remember that cohesion at macro level or cohesion at micro level. So when you're writing something, thesis statement is actually the statement that gives your reader an indication what you're going to write. So topic sentence offers your essay cohesion within the body paragraphs. Finally, etc. So that sequences the events. So the reference actually make references to what you have already written, which obviously gives the overall meaning to your essay. So for example, you have written about people in the previous sentence, and in the next sentence you don't want to write people again. You can use the word they. So they will make reference to people that you have already written in the previous sentence, and that won't repeat the same word again, people, but in a way it will link that what you're trying to say, that you can use in your essay. All right friends, so that sums up what cohesion and coherence are. So keep writing and good luck. Hello friends, welcome to my YouTube channel Crack IELTS with Simmer. And in today's video we are going to talk about cohesion and coherence in IELTS. I hope you guys remember from our previous video when we talked about cohesion and coherence as one of the 4 components of IELTS writing exam. Cohesion and coherence contributes to 25% of total writing score. So in case you haven't watched that video, I'll encourage you guys to go back and watch that video. That's a very useful video for the new starters or anyone who doesn't know how IELTS writing is assessed and what are some of the key areas in the IELTS writing that you need to pay attention to. So I highly recommend you guys to watch that video. So let's get started with today's video, which is on cohesion and coherence. Alright, now the reason that why I'm making this video is because I know most of you, when you're preparing for your IELTS exam, you're paying a lot of attention on vocabulary, a lot of attention on grammar, whether you or not you're writing off topic or on topic. Generally, I know some of the test takers who are taking coaching from some good teachers, they must be teaching you what cohesion and coherence are, but I really want to make sure everyone who is taking the IELTS test knows what's the importance of cohesion and coherence, and more than that, what really cohesion and coherence are and why these 2 components are really important for a test taker in IELTS, and why you have to have good cohesion and coherence in your response for you guys in order to get a high band score or a good band score on your IELTS exam. I really want to make sure that you all know what is the difference between cohesion and coherence, what are the different types of cohesion, what are the different levels where you can use cohesion, and how you can obviously use cohesion and coherence in your response. So basically I'm gonna divide this video again into some parts in order for you guys to easily understand the different components of cohesion and coherence. In the first part of this video, I'm gonna teach you what cohesion and coherence are. In the next part of the video, I'm gonna talk about some of the types of cohesion and coherence that we use in the IELTS responses. And in the next part of the video, we're gonna talk about where to use cohesion and coherence in your responses. let's get started. So in the first part, as I said, we're going to talk about what cohesion and coherence are. As I said, we have briefly talked about in our previous video what cohesion and coherence are, but I'm going to talk about these things again. So basically, cohesion refers to the way we use vocabulary and grammatical structure to make the logical connection between ideas. So the way we use the language and the way we use the grammar in order to make the logical connection between ideas. And why we have to do that? We have to do that to make our reader to understand what we are trying to say. And of course, it gives a clear message to our reader on what we wanted to say. All right, so let's make it easy. So cohesion. So that's what cohesion is. Now let's look at coherence. What coherence means? Coherence refers to how easy or how difficult is your essay to read, and what's the overall progression in your essay. So I'm gonna keep it that simple. So you might want to know what's the difference between logical progression and the readability. So readability basically means how easy or how difficult your essay is for the examiner to read, for the examiner to follow. You might remember from my previous video where I have mentioned that I know many IELTS examiners who would say that I will give an essay higher band score if it gives, if it's easy to read, if the message can be followed through very easily, and I know what the reader is, what the writer is trying to say. And finally, logical progression. So logical progression is how logically your ideas are arranged. So whatever has to come first is first, and whatever has to come after is after. So for example, you are giving the idea first and then the reason for it, and not the reason and then introducing something after that. I hope that makes sense. So this is the logical progression in your essay. Some of the examples of cohesion includes your words like and, but, further, or, finally, etc. You know that these are cohesive devices. So that concludes the first part of this video on what cohesion and coherence means. So we'll go to the next part, which is types of cohesion and coherence in your essay. So let's get to types of cohesion and coherence. All right. So let's come to the next part of the cohesion and coherence, which is where to use cohesive devices and obviously the types. So that in a sense are related. So I'm going to cover both these in this part of the video. So in a way, you have noticed that I have only talked about the cohesive devices. I'm not talking about the coherence here. As I mentioned, if you're writing in a way which is easy for the reader to read and it has a flow, obviously that's gonna give coherence to your response. But with cohesion, you have to be very careful. You have to skillfully manage on how you can obviously give your essay a nice cohesion to get a higher band score of 7 or 8. So I'm gonna basically show you different levels and different types where you can demonstrate cohesion in your response to your reader. Now you don't have to remember that cohesion at macro level or cohesion at micro level. So these are just the terms that I use in my classroom teaching for my students to understand what are the different ways in which we can use the cohesion in our IELTS essays. So macro level, when I say macro level, it's a broad. So for example, cohesion in the entire essay or cohesion in the entire paragraph. So when I'm talking about micro level, I'm talking about cohesion within the sentences, or when you're connecting one sentence to another. So let's talk about cohesion at macro level. So basically there are two things that offer your essay cohesion at macro level. So the first thing that offer your essay cohesion at macro level is the thesis statement. So I don't know if you know about thesis statement or not, but we will talk about what thesis statement is briefly in this video, but I can make another video or how to write IELTS essay introduction, which will give you more idea on what thesis statements are. So as I said, two things that offers cohesion at macro level. First thing is thesis statement, and the second thing is topic sentence. So this is really important. So let's get to cohesion at macro level. All right, so as you could see that your thesis statements comes within your introduction. When you're writing something, thesis statement is actually the statement that gives your reader an indication what you're going to write. So basically within your introduction, it's the part that tells the reader the whole gist of your essay and your position. Now this is really important to have a clear position in your essay, but that is something we are going to talk in another video. So when I'm talking about thesis statement, so thesis statement is a part of the introduction which tells the reader what you're trying to write in the essay. For example, there's an essay on benefits and drawbacks of, for example, city life. So you can say as a thesis statement, this essay will discuss the benefits and drawbacks of city life, followed by a conclusion. That's it. So this gives the reader what you're trying to write in your essay. So at broad level or at macro level, this offers cohesion to your essay. So I hope that makes sense. So I'll get you guys to take some of the IELTS questions that have been appeared in the past IELTS exams, and obviously brainstorm some of the ideas and then try to write some thesis statements on those essays, but that won't make sense until you make a full introduction. So I'll promise with you guys that I'll make another video on IELTS introductions, but here I'm saying thesis statement is something that gives your essay a good cohesion. And the next thing is topic sentence. So topic sentence offers your essay cohesion within the body paragraphs. So if you guys remember from our previous video in which we have talked about the topic sentence in terms of offering your reader what you are going to say in this particular body paragraph. So in a way they both are similar. So thesis statement offers your reader point of view what you are going to say in the entire essay, and the topic sentence gives your reader an idea what you're going to say in that specific body paragraph. So both of these have to be very clear. So if they are clear, this will obviously offer coherence to your essay. I hope that makes sense. So this is cohesion at macro level. Now let's talk about cohesion at micro level. So to offer the cohesion at micro level, the first thing is the linking devices. I know most of you know what linking devices are, and then sequences, and finally the reference. Again, you don't have to worry about what these heavy words are: linkers, sequences, reference. As I said, I use these words for my students for them to understand what are the different types. But this is your language test, so you don't need to worry about if you don't understand the meaning of these. But I would definitely want you to use all of them in your essay where appropriate. So these are used at sentence level. So basically, linkers are the words that connects the sentences, like and, so, therefore, etc. And sequencer, that that obviously sequences the events. So sequences like firstly, finally, etc. So that sequences the events. So the first reason is, the second reason is, the final reason is, firstly, secondly, finally. So these are the sequencer, and finally the reference. Generally this is missed. Please note that this is really important. Reference are the best linking devices, or reference are the best cohesive devices in your essay. So reference actually make references to what you have already written, which obviously gives the overall meaning to your essay. So for example, you have written about people in the previous sentence, and in the next sentence you don't want to write people again, you can use the word they. So they will make reference to people that you have already written in the previous sentence, and that won't repeat the same word again, people, but in a way it will link that what you're trying to say. If you have made reference to something and you want to use that in passive, you can also say it, you can say them. So you can use the words like which, where, to make some of the references on what you have already written in the previous sentences. Now, my favorite linker, generally students ask me, what are your favorite linkers? So my favorite linkers are and, also. I don't know, these linkers come naturally, and I just love to use these linkers in my essay. And obviously they, them, these are the reference that I would always use in my essay. So make sure that you understand what are the different types of cohesion, or what are the different types of cohesive devices that you can use in your essay. All right, friends. So that sums up what cohesion and coherence are. So in this video, we have talked about, in the first part, what cohesion and coherence are. So we have closely looked at what's the difference between the overall linking structures in the essay and overall progression, which is flow of ideas in your essay. In the second part of the video, we have talked about how to use cohesion and coherence, and what are the different types of cohesion and cohesive devices that you can use in your essay. So that in a sense was very subjective video, and was more around giving you guys information on what cohesion and coherence mean. Now, I'm definitely gonna make one more video for you guys in which we are gonna talk about practicalities of cohesion and coherence, or how to improve your band score on cohesion and coherence. So I'll see you guys shortly in our next video, in which we will talk about application or practicalities of cohesion and coherence in IELTS writing, or how to improve cohesion and coherence in IELTS writing. Till then, keep writing, and please put in the comment section if you have any questions, or if you want me to make any more videos on IELTS. Keep writing, and good luck.